Well, happy Wednesday to you. It's Wednesday, June the 16th. You're watching Up to the Minute. I'm Todd Duplantis. It's great to have you with us on the show. Hey, if you haven't been outside today, it's beautiful out there. Great day in Houston. It was around 73 degrees this morning, which was wonderful. Brittany Pacheco, always early to rise, always early to get outside. And Brittany, did you enjoy being outside this morning?
Biggest lie of life, Todd. I mean, no. No, I have been outside. It is quite nice. Still a little too humid for my opinion. I know that there was some rain going on, but yeah, no, we need it to be cooler, more pleasant. I need that AC, y'all. Just saying.
You need the AC. Well, hey, it was about 73. I'll take it when I can get it because the last few days it's just been brutal out there.
It has been. It definitely has been. But we are here for Up to the Minute. So before we jump into our show, I do want to remind everyone to take a moment to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as LinkedIn. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Be sure to share this podcast. That way we can grow our audience. But more importantly, just share this great information to those who may not be following our social media. So, Todd, let's get into today's show.
All right, Brittany, stick around. We'll check in with you in a little while. We've got a couple of special guests. It's Wednesday, twice a month. Dr. Christopher Segler, former HCC student and foot and ankle surgeon now from the Bay Area. He joins us as our fitness guest. Good morning to you, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Todd. Thanks for having me today.
Chris, I missed having you. I missed being on the show with you last time because I think I was on some official business for the college. But you talked about running shoes for people getting out running. We're going to continue that conversation a little bit later on in the segment.
Yeah, today we're going to talk a little bit about how to actually know when you should replace those shoes when they're not going to be helping you so much.
Okay, I want to hear all about that. Okay, Chris, stand by, grab a cup of coffee. We'll be back with you shortly. We're going to kick things off, take you out to Southeast Houston, particularly our Southeast College. Brenda Rios Brombacher is our Director of Entrepreneurial Initiatives. And Brenda, good morning. You've got a special event going on out there today.
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be sharing a little bit of what we're doing here at the Southeast campus, and you're going to be shocked. We're having fun.
First, I want to talk about the figure behind you. That is a balloon astronaut?
Yes, absolutely. The themes for what we're doing in the summer camp, so I'll be talking in just a few minutes, is they're going to Mars. So we're definitely preparing them to become astronauts, and we got a role model over here.
That's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to kick off talking about a Verizon partnership you guys have. Maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Let's do it. Yes. So we got a grant with Verizon Innovative Learning Program where the mission is to diminish the digital divide that we see in our communities. So this is a national program. We're the only one in Houston providing summer camps for students in middle school. So 6th through 8th grade. We're starting with the girls, as you can see. For 3 weeks, we'll have them here on our campus learning the different technologies. So I'm literally talking about augmented reality.
That's pretty cool.
It's so awesome. I can't wait to use this. This like the robot that's going to Mars. All right. This is called like a Sphero RVR. So this is part of the artificial intelligence track. We also have smart solutions using sort of the Samsung phones where they'll be coding and doing little things. And then we have 3D printing. So they're connecting with circuits. This kind of program is called Little Bits. And so they are using all these tools to create, I don't know if you can see it well, to create different solutions. What we want out of this camp is understand sort of the social problems that we have in our communities and find solutions with this kinds of emerging technologies they can use. I mean, we're really preparing them for the future and also exposing them to our campus. Our campus is beautiful. So just to get them ready, maybe in high school, they can take some of the dual credit classes and get them ready into the STEM careers.
You brought up something earlier. the digital divide. And I think we all learned a lot about that, more than we ever wanted to learn. And the awful truth was there is a serious digital divide across this nation, especially when kids had to be sequestered and start learning virtually. It's one thing to give the kids a computer or a tablet, but then they got to have connectivity and be able to get on the internet. And I guess you guys are trying to help bridge those things with exposing them to this technology.
Not only that, so as part of this program, we have agreements with Verizon that are actually loaning Chromebooks to the students that don't have the technologies back at home. This program is a hybrid format. Obviously, we had to tweak it up with the pandemic. Yeah. So they're here on campus Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. But when it comes to Tuesdays and Thursdays, they're doing it at home virtually on their Chromebooks that we gave them away as part of this program, connected to MiFi plan so that they have a stable activity, Wi-Fi activity. So yes, absolutely.
They're getting the computer and also a way to connect as well.
Yes, everything. We're giving them the curriculum. We're connecting them virtually to other students across the city, because the exciting part is, I actually thought it was going to be the schools surrounding us. Given the pandemic, we wanted to outreach closely to us, but we have girls all the way from Atascocita, Humboldt, Richmond, Baytown, Pasadena. It's just amazing.
And you've got a class going on right now. You want to give us a peek inside there, see what the ladies are up to right now?
Absolutely. Let's walk into what they're doing right now in their classrooms.
So you're at the Southeast College right now. If people wanted to sign up for these, are you going to be holding one for the boys in the future?
Yes, so we'll have the boys in July. So girls, say hi. We are on Facebook virtual.
There you go. Ladies are on Facebook Live. Give us a big shout out. Make some noise. Y'all having fun out there?
They actually can't.
Oh, they can't hear me. Okay, now they can hear me. All right. You guys having fun out there? All right.
Oh, sorry. Are you guys having fun?
Yeah. All right. There you go.
Good. One classroom. They're all broken down into 4 tracks. So I'm going to be walking over here with more girls in this room.
And Brenda, you guys won a diversity award as well, didn't you?
Sorry, Todd. I lost you for a second.
I said you guys won a 2021 diversity award as well, right? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, y'all won a diversity award?
Yes, well, that's another award that we got. We got the Entrepreneurial College of the Year during the pandemic. And then from the Houston Business Journal, we got recognized as the one of the diversity awards that they give out earlier this year. So we have so much excitement, so much movement happening on our side, and it's great because we're providing this to the communities in most need.
Sure. And if people want to know more about the entrepreneurial program and specifically what you're doing out there at the Southeast College, where can they go on the website to find out the information?
Absolutely. You can visit us at hccs.edu/small business. You will understand or see small business, correct? Because we're part of the bigger entrepreneurial initiatives that is led by my supervisor, Maya Durnovo. And we have 3 centers. We have Goldman Sachs, we have MBDAs, we have different departments. It doesn't matter at what stage you are on your entrepreneurial journey. You can be a student all the way from elementary school up to a senior learning technologies. So we do it all.
Brenda, you guys also specialize in doing workshops that are bilingual as well.
Well, absolutely. And we have an academy coming up in the fall, like around September, when it's Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll be giving it out and launching in a conference that's in September. But yes, we're doing it in Espanol. So for those who are coming, from other countries, or they're just barely here, a year or 2 and still practicing their English, they're going to be able to understand how to start a business in their own language.
Brenda, Rios, Brombacher, you guys are doing some great work out there. Director of Entrepreneurial Initiatives at HCC Southeast. Congratulations for a great camp. Continue the great work.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Okay. And we'll put some links in the social media post for the show if you want to check out the programs they're doing out there. All right. Dr. Christopher Segler, long time ago, he was an HCC student. And if you're a student, he's an example. You can move on. He's a doctor now. He works out in the San Francisco Bay Area. Chris, real briefly, because people may not know, you do a little bit of different type of podiatry. You specialize in treating athletes, and you do a concierge service where you go out and meet them at their homes at times.
Yeah, that's right. So I work with a lot of elite athletes and do, primarily sports medicine with athletes, runners. And so, yeah, it's it's different. It's if you go to the doctor, the usual routine, you schedule an appointment, you wait for a couple of weeks, and you go to the office and you wait for a couple of hours, and then the doctor walks in, they spend a couple of minutes with you, and it just seems backwards. And if if you're training for a specific event, if you're an athlete, those people typically have a lot more questions and they want more information and more in-depth time. And so, I schedule an hour for webcam calls or to do a house call. And actually I go see the athlete. I can see all their shoes. I can see their setup on the bike. I can see all of those things, obviously, when I'm in their home. And, they don't bring that stuff to the office. So it's a different way of doing it. It's not really a new way. Everybody used to do it that way 100 years ago, but now nobody does it that way. Yeah.
So, well, except for Doc on the Run, Dr. Christopher Segler. And if you get lucky, folks, he might even ride his motorcycle out to your house for your house call as well. Chris, I want to ask you, last time you were on the show, you talked about running shoes for runners. And most people may think, you know what, I can just run to Target, grab a pair of shoes and I'm good to go. But being an avid runner, my feet are very important to me and I want to keep them protected. So having the right running shoes is a big deal, especially if you've been running in them for like maybe a year. It might be time to get rid of those shoes. How do you know that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the thing is, running shoes are expensive. Let's face it, right? And they're disposable. It's unfortunate, but they are. So you go and spend this money and you get some running shoes and you start using them and they feel great. But what happens is that they get disintegrated over time, basically, with the midsole cushioning material. And you do not notice that happening. So they feel completely different when you get them versus when they're time to retire them. And it's a very slow process. You don't notice unless you have something to track or something to compare. And it is essential. A good analogy is a bicycle helmet. Like bicycle helmets have a little bitty thin plastic shell over a bunch of styrofoam and a strap. That's it. And when you crash a bicycle and you hit your head, it crushes the styrofoam and completely destroys it. And you cannot wear it again and expect to be protected. But it's a process that's slow that happens with running shoes. But the same thing happens. The material, the EVA or ethyl vinyl acetate material in all running shoes in the midsole that cushions you, it gets compressed and destroyed over time. And then it does not stabilize your foot the way that it should if you have motion control shoes. And it does not cushion you the way that it should if you have cushioning type running shoes because you have high arches and a really stiff foot type.
Right.
And so in either scenario, they're going to get destroyed and then you don't notice. And so you've got to do something to really make sure that you're replacing them appropriately.
And are there ways you can look at the shoes or gauge by how much you've been running as to whether these shoes are getting worn out?
Yeah, there are a couple of tricks. So there are really three methods, that I suggest people use. And the most common one is mileage. And you'll see a common recommendation if you search for it online and it'll say, running shoes can go for about 500 miles, but that's not really true. If you drive a car fast, your tires last a lot shorter period of time than if you drive reasonably. And the same is true of shoes. So if you're somebody who's, a tiny person that weighs, 90 pounds, you're really thin and you're light and you're a light runner, meaning that you land with a 4-foot or midfoot strike, they're going to last a lot longer than somebody like me. I'm 6'2" and I, weigh nearly 200 pounds. And so when I run, I really pound on the shoes. And if you're running as a heel striker, you actually do beat the shoes up more and it beats up the material more. And so in that case, I think more like 200 or 250 miles is more reasonable. Somebody like you training for marathons or an Ironman, well, that's pretty frequent. If you're doing, 40 miles a week, we're only talking, a month and a half or something before you have to start thinking about replacing those shoes again. But it's important because if you get injured, you're going to get sidelined and then you're really messed up. So, one of the things you can look at is on the shoe, like if we look at a running shoe, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera here, but you cannot really see the midsole cushioning material, right? So you see the outsole, and a lot of people will say, well, when this is worn out, I should replace it. When that's worn out, you went way too long. Way too long. So what you're looking at is really on the side of the shoe, along here, either right under the forefoot or right under the heel. You're looking for areas where there's wrinkles. And this is a Hoka recovery sandal, and it's basically made of the material that's in the midsole cushioning. And if you look closely, like right around here, there's some wrinkles. And if we squeeze and compress that area, you can see the wrinkles kind of showing up. I don't know if you can make that out on the camera, but as those wrinkles appear on the sidewall, you know that the material on the inside of the shoe has actually compressed. And so I've actually got a video that kind of shows you how to do that, but it's not really complicated. You just look at the side of the shoe and then you squeeze it and push on the bottom of the sole. And if those wrinkles become more pronounced and they appear, that only happens when it's worn out. It will not do that with brand new running shoes. Right. So that's the second method, is to really look for those wrinkles that indicate the material on the inside of the midsole is actually crushed or destroyed. And then the third method is really simple. Somebody like you, if you're really running a lot, well, you don't really want to go to the running shoe store every month. So if you go to the store and you buy 2 pairs of the same shoes that you know that you like, that work for you, well, don't wear them at the same time. You start with pair number 1 and you run in those. And then after you've run in them for a month or 2, then just take the other shoes out of the box, put those on and go for a run. And you will notice a tremendous difference in the feel. They feel completely different. And you know that those other ones are not working the way they're supposed to when they feel so different. Right.
You gave me a tip years ago when I first started running, and you had said, get yourself a few pairs of running shoes that you like and rotate them. And I still do that today. Every day I pick a different pair of shoes, and I have a number of them that I'll rotate, and then I'll rotate some out, get a new pair. So I've always got about 3 or 4 pairs that I'm running in. And you had mentioned, and maybe this is important as well, you'd mentioned make sure the shoes are a bit different so your foot works in different angles and you build more strength. Do you still recommend that to runners?
I do. So this is like, cross training for your feet, really. And it is true. If you run in something like this is a Newton, right? And it has these lugs under the forefoot. It makes you run as a midfoot striker, basically. And if you run in those, and let's say you do a 5-mile run at a specific pace, and then a week later, you do that exact same run in a different pair of more conventional running shoes or Hokas or something else, you will notice that you actually feel sore at different levels in different places. And what that means is that the way that you're landing in the shoes and the way that the shoes absorb forces is different. And so that actually spreads out the forces. All overtraining injuries are a consequence of some one structure getting beaten up and not recovering fully before the next workout. And when you rotate your shoes, I feel like you spread the forces out so that you're not likely to continue to beat up one thing over and over. And that really does help prevent overtraining injuries. And that's sort of the benefit of cross training. You're just basically trying to put, the tissue damage in different places at different times so that something doesn't get too much tissue damage and wind up as what we consider an overtraining injury.
And a lot of folks may wonder, I don't want to spend $150 or $200 for a pair of brand new running shoes. Here's the key I've learned, and I think you talked to me and my wife about this. Go on the websites, find last year's model because they're always on sale. And hey, pick them up. If they're a year old and they're still new, they're still good running shoes.
That's exactly right. So, I couldn't care less. Like, I'm not big on color or anything else. I really don't care. And I go through shoes. So I know also if it's color I don't like, truthfully, I'm not going to wear them that long. Yeah. And, a few years ago, I bought some trail running shoes that were by far, without question, the ugliest shoes I have ever seen. But the tremendous benefit of trail running is, no joke, like literally I went out and did one trail run, and it's very dusty, because it's dry in California. And I did one trail run and you couldn't tell. They were completely covered in dust and it hid the ugliness. So it didn't really matter. But, this is true. So if you can get a huge discount, like in here, there's a place called Sports Basement, and they have a huge selection of shoes, but if you go in and the A6 Gel Nimbus is like $150 or something for the brand new, most current version. And I go there and almost every time I wind up getting some that are either 1 season or 2 seasons older color. So they're not even a year old, right? And yet they're somewhere between $70 and $100.
Yeah.
So it's pretty rare when I pay over $100 for a pair of running shoes, truthfully, because I don't care. I just basically go to the section where they have all the discount shoes. I look for what's in my size. I try to find ones that I know work for me, whether it's Saucony Kinvaras or A6 Gel Nimbus or something else that I'm used to running in. And I don't care what the color is. As long as it's in my size and it feels good, that's what I get.
And that's a great tip. So you do want to buy good running shoes. Just you don't need this year's model. Get the cheaper ones. Chris Segler, what are we going to talk about next time, Chris?
Yeah, next time we're going to continue that same theme and talk more about cross training, as an activity for runners and how it really can help reduce your risk of injury. Because, if you're training for anything, the name of the game is consistent building of strength. And when you get injured, it just completely destroys the whole process. And that's really the key. Dr. Christopher Segler, he's known as Doc on the Run. He has a newsletter. If you'd like to subscribe to it, we'll put a link in the social media post of the show. Thanks for being here, Chris. All right. Thanks for having me. We'll see you next time. Okay, Brittany is joining us. Brittany, have you ever bought shoes that you just got home with and you're like, these are just ugly shoes. I don't know what I'm going to do with them.
Absolutely not. But what I did take away from Chris the last time he was on the show and we were talking about shoes, all I heard was buy all the shoes. If I need a prescription, he did offer to write me one. So I'm all for it. But then they become an addiction. I've got, like 5 pairs of running shoes that I run in right now. And that's adorable. Whenever I bring a new pair in the house, my wife just rolls her eyes. But I get them on sale. That's the more you buy, the more points you gather and you get them on sale. So that's my excuse. Yeah, no, I am a shoe addict for sure. I know I can definitely compete with the president of the Philippines, his wife. I can't think of her name right now. But I can compete with that. And then the most bougie shoe that I've ever purchased are red bottom shoes from Paris. No regrets whatsoever. Love the shoes. Okay, but you won't see Brittany in running shoes, though. All right. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Brittany, we got a few things to talk about HCC news and announcements. One of them, Juneteenth remembered. That's right. And it's actually really appropriate, too, because as we should all know, the federal holiday for Juneteenth has just been passed. So that's going to happen. But the Office of Student Life will commemorate the day federal troops arrived in Galveston to end the enslavement of African Americans in 1865, a full 2 years after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So we've got a couple of festivities planned. So the first is, how far to freedom? Are we there yet? So award-winning activist Tammy Lang Campbell will map out the history of African Americans' journey from slavery to the struggle for systematic equity, legislative focus on I just lost my place. Sorry, on reparations and path to the final destination, freedom and equity in this virtual presentation. Now that's she's related to Sade, who's a frequent guest on the show. I think that's Mama Campbell. So that is Mama Campbell. Yeah. And so she'll be tomorrow. It'll be June 15th, 1 to 2 p.m. That's right. So we are actually on the 16th. So that happened yesterday. Okay, okay. And we've got something happening today, though. We do. So let's just refocus. So we do have stuff going on today on campus with food, fun, music, and historical reflections. Now that students have been welcomed back to campus, what better reason to gather than Juneteenth to listen up for the days and times of your college's get-togethers. Now today, going on shortly after we conclude Up to the Minute at Northline, there's an event going on at the Northline campus at 11:30. We also have another 2 campuses having happenings today at noon. That's South Campus and our East Side campus. We've also got more going on tomorrow at Coleman Central and Northwest at Alief Hayes, as well as Stafford and West Loop. That was a lot. That was a mouthful. Be sure to go follow the Student Life page on Facebook and Instagram for more information, because they do have a presence here. So that is what's happening for Juneteenth events. Northline, your old stomping grounds? One of my old stomping grounds. That's home for me.
You know, that's also the location of our next honors college that we're going to be opening up.
Nice. That's very exciting.
They'll be doing that at Northline. Okay, need a new skill set? HCC is part of the Texas Reskilling Grant Program, dedicated to providing support to displaced Texas workers impacted by COVID-19 who need to learn or develop further skills to return to the workforce. To qualify, go to hccs.edu/Texas-reskilling. We'll have the link in that post. And get the green light. This is a workshop for HCC students.
It is. So HCC students get a discount for tips from the pros workshop for filmmakers/actors, headlined by casting director Beth Sepko of Richard Linklater's Boyhood and The Leftovers. Yeah. It will include actor Corey Hart of Fear, The Walking Dead, and Queen of the South, as well as agents, producers and directors of photography. For this and lunch, it's $125 for students, $100 each for groups of 10 or more. That's really exciting, actually. So that's happening this Saturday, June 19th from 9 a.m. to 5. We'll put more information about the location and how to register in the post after this show.
You think he'll do his song Sunglasses at Night at the work?
I wear my sunglasses at night.
I don't know if it's the same Corey Hart, but I'm hoping it is, because that would be awesome if it was.
That would be.
All right. Admissions and registration fairs. Hey, guess what? We're reopening them on campuses. We're continuing to help students start, continue, and relaunch their educational path with 20 plus admission and registration fairs. They're live in person. They're happening through August. The next one, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., Monday, June 21st at the HCC Northeast Learning Hub. You can apply there, go through the enrollment and onboarding steps, choose a program major. You can do advising while you're there as well, and talk with folks about financial aid. Okay. Hey, talking about Northline, Brittany.
Yes, I know. Very exciting about what's going on with Northline. So students in the Northeast Houston now have an opportunity to apply to the HCC Honors College program at Northline campus. What? It offers scholarships, free books, counseling, and possible travel abroad. That's a very exciting opportunity. I know that's like a major perk for the Honors College. So fall 2021 applications are open to graduating high school seniors with 3.5 GPA or adults who demonstrate college readiness. For more information, contact Dr. Cheryl Peters, and we'll have her contact information in the post after this show.
Okay, Jack Andrew making an appearance on the show. Summer classes are underway now, students. You can sign up for a number, or actually a couple of summer sessions that are left, and the fall semester. In-person classes have returned to our campuses. We're fully reopened, folks, so that's happening right now. 5 ways to learn. A couple of them are online, a couple are hybrid, and of course, in-person classes as well. Learn all about them by going to one website, hccs.edu/now. You can register there and get all the information you need. Okay, Brittany, tomorrow on the show, we're bringing back a guest. We had a little, okay, you're gonna have to move it out of here. There you go. He's gone. Okay. We had a guest on the other day and we had some connectivity problems, but I'm fascinated to talk to this guy because Freddie Pate has worked with Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Conway Twitty, if you can imagine, as well, along with Loretta Lynn. Those are just to name a few. The guy has worked with megastars. We will be live on the show tomorrow, and we'll get a chance to talk to him. Do you have a question you want to ask him?
I don't. I will admit I'm not country's biggest fan. I know about 3 out of the 4 names that you just mentioned, so we're good.
Oh boy. You too, Brittany. It's your friend. Do your research before the gentleman joins us on the show.
Will do.
It's going to be a great show. Willie Nelson, is that the name you know?
That's funny. No, I don't know who Conway Twitty is.
What is it with Conway Twitty? One person told me the other day is they thought he was just somebody who was on Family Guy. No, there really was a Conway Twitty. Look him up on YouTube.
Will do.
All right. It's also tomorrow, Virtual Family Fun Day.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite days also. So we will welcome someone relatively new to the museum district, the Moody Center of the Arts at Rice University. I also have to rep Rice. I have family who have graduated there. So that's really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, what more can you ask for? It's going to be a great Thursday. We're going to have, music. We're going to have the museum. Again, what more can you ask for?
Johnny Cash, Loretta Lynn, Conway Twitty, Willie Nelson, some of the biggest names in music. And Brittany's going to do her research on them tonight. Okay. Yeah. All right, folks, we're wrapping up the show for today. We will see all of you tomorrow. Brittany will be here and some special guests. We'll see you live 10 a.m. on Up to the Minute.